Honorable colleagues, yesterday I saw a very disturbing story on the BBC, which also formed part of today's lead story in New Vision, of where someone has been trading certain Ugandan. I don't know whether he holds Ugandan citizenship, I can't be sure. Though we know he's a Ugandan born, has been trading, allegedly trading in human beings. Girls, trading our girls. Some of them, I'm told, they died under mysterious circumstances. You know, I know most of us interact with our people who are working in some of these countries. One of the things they told me is that some of the countries negotiate on their behalf. You find people working in the same environment, same job, but like the starting amount for country A is $2,000. For Ugandans, they leave you to negotiate on your own. Okay? So I think we need to reopen that debate. We look into the issues, the plight of our Ugandan workers, especially the girls who need much more protection. Ugandan migrant workers, especially those who are in the Middle East. So I know some colleagues had also told me they want to react on that point, but we need to find a way. I don't know whether you say the minister should come and make a statement here, but what we would need is more of action. More of action. When they are to report, they should be reporting action. It was very, very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. You see someone really, the way they were talking, what girls can do, you know, it was so disturbing. And I hope government, I urge government, take keen interest in this matter and follow it up, this final conclusion, especially those young girls who died, some of whose parents could not afford repatriating the bodies, and they were buried in what is termed, marked as an unknown person's cemeteries. A family would never settle. A family would never settle. So I urge government, take in interest. We can agree, colleagues, on how best maybe we can get a report after that. But I would urge government taking interest in this matter to comfort Ugandans.
On the more serious issue of these unfortunate girls who are taken abroad, a lady got to me from Western Uganda, and actually it's the reason partly I was calling you. And this lady narrated her story. She was taken to Dubai. And then when she reached there, she thought she was going to work in the supermarket or something, only to find herself in a sex brothel. And finally she escaped and found her way back. Came and reported the case at police. Right, Honorable Speaker, it is extremely sad. The police mishandled this lady's case to a point of actually calling her mentally, that she had a mental case. She even went and met the Prime Minister. Right, Honorable Speaker. Fortunately, the Prime Minister intervened. They had even confiscated her phone, which had evidence. Finally, the police returned the phone, only for the DPP to close the case. So, Right, Honorable Speaker, where should somebody seek justice? If you go and report such a case and the police instead turns against you, what happens? I have this woman's contacts, I've been in touch with her, and even implicating one of us here, a member of parliament, because she went out using this person's, company. So, Right, Honorable Speaker, it is actually, no, I'm not going to go into mentioning the name. But it's a fact. But Right Honorable Speaker, the issue I'm trying to say...
It's good we are discussing this very critical matter. I did watch that documentary. I saw it myself. Very grotesque images and stories of our young people who leave this place to go and seek employment. Eventually they are hoodwinked because many of them are taken. You're going to work as a security guard, you're going to work in a restaurant, in whatever the case might be, and they end up in an illegal, coercive prostitution ring where they are sexually abused. It is the responsibility of government to care for Ugandans here and Ugandans abroad. I'm actually surprised that government has not come out to communicate to the country about this situation and what they are doing. We had expected that that should have happened with immediacy, so that we know you are in charge, so that we know you are concerned about these young Ugandan people. Government has not done that yet. I don't know why. Many of our young people who go for these jobs come back in body bags. We see them crying out, saying, government, help us, okay, at the very least, to transport the body bag. Government doesn't do that. We don't understand why. Honourable Speaker, as we are demanding for a statement from government, we want it to be a lot more action-oriented, even before the statement. Can we see government begin to take steps to protect these Ugandan citizens? Because you see, a number of them go through these farms that are registered by you, government. They export them, externalize them to wherever, and then they end up in this confusion. We want to see action. But most importantly, Right Honourable Speaker, the bigger issue we need to resolve as a country that we need to work hard towards is finding a remedy to youth unemployment. The 2024 population and housing census, National Population and Housing Census, showed that between the age of 18 and 30, 16.1% of those young people are unemployed. What's even more bothersome is that those who are employed are either underemployed, they're doing very odd work that only enables them transport. What they earn is simply enough for transport. It doesn't include feeding, they can't get where to stay, and that's the challenge we have on our hands. So any young person is desperate to go and work wherever. So when they hear of an opportunity, they'll run quickly to go and board the plane, unfortunately for them to come back in body bags. That's something we need to resolve and remedy as a country. But now that we have this at hand, we want to see action from government taking quick steps so that a few months down the road, we are not hearing stories of other girls being brought in body bags. Thank you.
Government?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and colleagues for amplifying this matter. As a shadow minister, I've had experience and the opportunity to interact with Ugandans in the diaspora. And it is true that Ugandans, mostly in the Middle East, remain with unending challenges. Many are several times found in distress, and indeed we receive so many distress calls. But specifically for United Arab Emirates, I've also had the opportunity to look at the story aired by BBC, and it speaks to what we have been seeking for, that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must come out and explain where is the delay in negotiating enforceable bilateral labor agreements. This is one of the critical areas we need to address, because with enforceable bilateral agreements, like other countries have done, for example, Philippines, our nationals would be protected while abroad. And it's also a double-ended sword. We also need explanation from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, because largely, many of these are trafficked. And we also need to interrogate, why is trafficking on increase? And trafficking is at our borders. This has to be addressed locally. When we are to speak about trafficking, how do people exit, especially under questionable circumstances? But for those in the Middle East, we still have Ugandans who are still distressed in Myanmar, in Cambodia. I've had distress calls from Ugandans, especially women, in India. Now we saw the BBC story. The work conditions can only be improved by government through our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our embassies, negotiating, and we support them in enforcement of bilateral labor agreements. That will safeguard the rights of our workers wherever they are deployed abroad. But when it comes to how they exit the country, we also need a response from Internal Affairs. What is their take on trafficking? And we also need to interrogate where are those cases where government has prosecuted traffickers locally here, because we must deal with both the trafficking from our borders and also the welfare of our nationals when they exit to foreign countries, not only UAE, but also largely in the Middle East. Let's deal with negotiating bilateral labor agreements and let Parliament support the enforcement of these bilateral labor agreements, because some of them may even have financial implications. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues in the
Mr. Speaker, when this documentary came out, the Prime Minister directed the Minister for Labour to investigate the matter and actually even update Cabinet in the coming days, but also take some action. So government is already in action in terms of investigating the matter and making sure that we prevent this to happen even to other Ugandans. Regarding whether government should take over the process of externalization of labor, I think we are doing it better with private companies, as long as government has a hand in sieving out who is doing this. On the issue of the bill, the minister, as he makes a statement, he will also be able to update the House on how far the bill has gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister, let's have the statement next week, but especially looking at those cases of Ugandans who died, we really need to know how you followed up, and we need to know whether these people indeed went through farms licensed by government or they went on their own, okay?